Well, hello everyone. It's good to greet you. It's Tuesday morning, the 22nd of December, and I thought today I'd share a story with you. It's a story I heard some years ago, and I think it originally was written by the Reverend Islwyn Bainan, who was a minister in Carmel for many years. I heard it first of all. Mrs. Olwyn Jones from Bethel shared it with us in a prayer meeting. And it's a lovely story, and it's a story about Sammy. So this is Sammy's story. The harvest season was over and Miss Evans began thinking about the school nativity. Very soon she would have to give out the parts to the older children who always took the lead. It was a special time, not only for the school but for the whole village. A few days later she looked around the class and they were doing some written work at that time. They were indeed a lovely class of local boys and girls who would soon be leaving the village school for the senior school in the town. One by one she filled the main parts. Bronwyn, with her gentle nature and loving singing voice, was easily Mary. Idwal, a local farmer's son, would fit the role of Joseph so very well. The shepherds, well, even though they were a bit boisterous and mischievous, John, Jack and Goronwy would, she felt, do very well indeed. Then there were the wise men. They needed to be taller, with a style and dignity that was befitting wise men who came from the east. Owain and William, and yes, Harry, would wear those crowns with great dignity and panache. She could see in her mind's eye the three walking down the aisle with the congregation singing, "We Three Kings." There were plenty of other boys and girls to be angels and extra shepherds and servants to the kings. Then she looked at Sammy. There was something so gentle, and yet what a disruptive child he could be. Slow to learn, and how often she had spoken to his mother about his unwillingness to even respond to her questions in the class. Even now he was sullen, his head down at his desk, and she did feel a pang of sadness that during his whole time in the school he had uttered very few words. Even in the village he had the reputation of being a bad boy, for if there was any trouble, Sammy was at the centre of it. There would definitely be no part for Sammy, that was for sure. She quickly came to herself and at the end of the lesson announced to the class who had the main parts. There was excitement among the children as the announcements were made. Mary, Bronwyn, Joseph, Idwal, the shepherds and the wise men came next. Shouts of glee went up from Owain and William as they heard they were going to be kings. Miss Evans was about to announce the third king when a hand went up. "Sammy," she said with a surprise. "Please, miss," Sammy said quietly, "can I be a king?" The whole class burst out in uncontrolled laughter. Miss Evans soon quietened them and thought how she could handle this situation. But something stirred inside of her. Perhaps it was a turning point after all. New beginnings, who knows? Against her better judgment, "Yes, Sammy," she said, "you shall be the third king." Well, the rehearsals went well. All the leading parts learned their lines. She deliberately gave Sammy just one line, which she had tremendous difficulty in getting him to say, and she often wondered during the rehearsals if she had indeed made the wise choice. Sammy's mother was totally unsympathetic. "You should have chosen someone else. You know what he's like." But she agreed to make Sammy's costume. She had quite a job keeping him still as she measured him and then later fixed his flowing cape. Then came the crown. Well, if her Sammy was taking part, he had to have the best crown of the three. She made it carefully and lined it with white fur and pieces of cut glass that looks like diamonds. Sammy soon looked the part, and his mum looked at him. The reclusive, quiet, problematic child looked like $1 million. Sammy loved that crown. He would wear it around the house and show it to the few friends he had. He decided that after the nativity he would keep it in his bedroom and no one would ever take it from him. Well, the special night came, and before the nativity began, the local minister gave a short talk. He told the children and everyone who was there of the wonderful message behind the story, of God sending his son to be the saviour of the world, the baby who would bring such joy and peace to the lives of so many. Jesus, who wanted to be a friend to everyone who loved, and who loved even the lost and the lonely. Something stirred in Sammy's heart when he heard that, because he had just begun reading his Bible, the Bible his grandmother had given to him. He had gone to Sunday school but not paid much attention. But now something was happening within him. He really wanted to know more, and so he read his Bible. He really wanted to thank Miss Evans and his mum and dad for all they had done for him then, and now that he was king, he would be brave enough to tell them that he had come to know Jesus. Others began to notice that Sammy had begun to change. His mother saw it. Miss Evans saw it. Sammy was more friendly, more willing to talk in class. Indeed, he was a changed person. His grandmother's Bible, which he opened and read, and where he read of the love of Jesus, had stirred this young lad's heart. Come the day, the village hall was full with the local dignitaries, and everyone took their part so very, very well. And then came the final tableau. Mary and Joseph and the baby Jesus, the angels surrounding the manger. The shepherds had knelt before the infant child, and then the kings arrived. Owen and William spoke their parts and presented their gifts of gold and frankincense. Now it was Sammy's turn. Everyone waited with bated breath. Would Sammy say his part, or would he be tongue-tied as he usually was? Sammy walked across the stage. He laid his gift of myrrh. And then something quite remarkable happened. Sammy looked intently at the baby in the manger, and then, to everyone's surprise, he took the crown he loved so much and laid it gently in the manger. The whole congregation gasped as Sammy knelt and whispered, "Thank you," to the baby in the manger. Miss Evans looked with tears rolling down her face. Sammy got up and smiled, joined the other kings, and sang his part. The message of Christmas had touched the hearts of all who were there that night. What can I give him, poor as I am? If I were a shepherd, I would bring a lamb. If I were a wise man, I would do my part. What can I give him? Give him my heart. Sammy had given his heart to Jesus. Till we cast our crowns before thee, lost in wonder, love, and praise.